Hi everyone. This is a quick walkthrough of Finance ResearchGate. When you open the site, you will see this screen. Just click Launch App. Give it about a minute to load. Once it opens, you will see two main sections. The first is the app. That is where you do most of the work. The second is Variable Finder. Variable Finder helps when you do not know the exact variable name. For example, type a keyword like profitability. Click Find. You will get a list of related variables. In general, you can download any table in the app. Look at the top right of the table. Click the menu. Choose Download as CSV. Then save it to your computer. Now let's go back to the app. You have two major directions: panel study or time series and portfolio. Panel study is used when you have firm-level panel data. That means many firms across many time periods. You can run a single frequency study or a cross-frequency study. Single frequency means your X and Y variables share the same frequency. Most research uses single frequency. Here you can choose annual, quarterly, monthly, or daily. Let's use annual as an example. Here we start with all variables of annual frequency. First, choose the start year and the end year. Then click Apply Period. Next, choose your X variables and your Y variable. I will select a few variables as an example. For X, I will pick abnormal capital investment and a couple more. For Y, I will select firm age. These are just sample choices to show the workflow. When you select variables, you can also view their definitions. Click a variable, and the documentation opens. It explains how the variable is constructed. Here we see the data file number of rows, and so far by default you are working with all firms in the chosen frequency. If you want to narrow your sample, you can filter by sector, industry, SIC, or a list of tickers. If you leave those filters empty, the app uses the full sample. Below that, you will see the firm identity table. It includes ticker, company name, country, state, sector, and the number of years available per firm. Some firms have 30 years or more. Others have fewer years. That is normal in panel data. So this table shows you the identity of firms used in the study. Most of the firms belong to US, but the sample may have a few international firms listed in the US Stock Exchange. Again, any table can be downloaded from the top right edge of that table. Next, you can transform variables before analysis. Select a variable. Choose a transformation. Click Add. You can create changes, percent changes, interactions, scaling, and other derived variables. You can also add new variable like creating a dummy variable. After that, You can run descriptive statistics. You will see summary stats for the variables in your study. Here you see typical descriptive table that has count, min, max, median, mean, etc. Then you can download that table by clicking on the top right edge of that table. You can also view descriptives by year or by category like sector or industry. You also can run descriptive by grouping by variable. You also have charts. To download a chart, click the 3 dots on the chart. Then choose Save as PNG. Now let's briefly discuss cross-frequency. Cross-frequency means your variables have different frequencies. For example, annual with quarterly, or monthly with daily. At the top, you will choose the frequency combination. Then you must assign each variable to the correct frequency. For example, select which variables are annual and which are quarterly. You can apply the same sample filters. Then click Apply. Of course, you can do different combination like annual with monthly, annual with daily, monthly with quarterly, and so on. After that, the workflow is similar. You can download tables, transform variables, run descriptives, and create charts. Finally, let's go to time series and portfolio. In this section, you start from panel data, but you collapse it into a time series. First, choose a frequency. For example, monthly. Then select a start year and an end year. Click Apply. Next, create a time series. Choose the sample definition. If you leave filters empty, it uses all firms. Each series can have different sample of firms, and this is why the filtering option is inside each series. For example, you can have Series A of a variable covering communication sector and Series B having the same variable but covering different sector, let's say energy. Then select the variable you want. Give some time to load, then you must choose how to aggregate the panel data into time series, which is done by choosing an aggregation method. The default is mean, but you can change it. You have a list of options under the aggregate box like median, sum, standard deviation, minimum and maximum. The result is 1 observation per month for the selected period. You can download the table from the top right menu. Then select Download to CSV and choose the location you want to save the CSV table. Down you have the table showing the aggregated sample series for the selected variable, so you can have sense of what you have before moving on. You can also create a portfolio series from the same variable. Select your portfolio settings. Then run the backtest. Once it finishes, you will have both the aggregated series and the portfolio series. It may take time when creating the portfolio depending on your sample size and frequency chosen. For example, monthly frequency will take more time than if you were working with annual frequency. But overall, the process can be fairly reasonable. If you chose daily, you must give me much more time. It is worth mentioning here that daily frequency file has millions of rows, so when working with that file, you must allocate enough RAM of your computer. Then you can view charts and summary tables. You can also run time series models at the end. There are many options available depending on your use case. That's it for this quick introduction. Thank you for watching.